poem starts talking about this triangle of physical states, which I gotta say,
Doesn't sound very flight related at first glance, no.
not really, more like something you'd see in like a chemistry textbook or something.
Right. But, think about it this way. It's actually really cleverly setting the stage for the very basics of flight.
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
So you've got solids, liquids, and gases.
Right.
And in the context of early flight,
So you've
well,
got like feathers representing solids,
exactly, feathers, held together by wax, a liquid.
working against the air, right?
Of course, the air, a gas. And that's how they were trying to.
Generate lift. Wow, I see it now.
It's all right there, beautifully woven into the poem.
Hmm.
It even ties into the Icarus myth.
Oh, totally. The
Well,
poem actually says the wax and the light float out of form.
exactly. And that's the downfall, right? Just like Icarus.
Yeah. It's like a tragic reminder that those early materials just couldn't,
Cut it.
yeah, they just weren't strong enough for sustained flight.
And that's where the poem shifts gears, I think, to a more engineered approach.
Yeah, it starts talking about metallic flexing support, which sounds
Much more robust.
definitely, it's got to be talking about moving beyond, feathers and wood and all that.
Now we're talking about stronger materials specifically engineered for flight.
Stuff that can handle the pressure.
Exactly. Like aluminum alloys. Strong, but still lightweight.
Makes sense. And it wasn't just about the materials themselves, right? The poem also mentions,
Tubular chamber.
tubular chambers with compression and thrust.
Mhm.
That's got to be about more than just, a stronger wing.
It is. This is where we see the evolution of aircraft design itself. We're moving beyond simple gliders.
And into something much more complex.
Exactly. We're talking about engines now.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. Those tubular chambers are the early cylinders and pistons harnessing controlled explosions to generate thrust.
That's a far cry from just, hoping the wind catches your wings.
Right. And it's all there, hidden in plain sight within the poetry.
Okay, so then things start to get even more intense. The poem talks about Mach conquered. And the shape of delta adopted. We're talking about breaking the sound barrier, right?
We are. Supersonic flight and the iconic delta wing design that made it possible.
I can't even imagine the challenges at those speeds.
Oh, it's incredible. The air resistance alone, it's like hitting a wall. Not to mention the heat.
Yeah, the poem actually mentions silica as a shield, which I'm guessing,
Refers to the heat-resistant materials they started using.
like ceramic tiles on the space shuttle, right? To protect it during re-entry.
Exactly. We're talking about pushing the boundaries of what's physically possible.
It's mind-blowing. But then the poem takes a turn, starts talking about,
Tubes of the rockets discarded all mortals.
yeah, that and automatic direction. Feels like a whole new chapter in the story of flight.
It is. This is where we see the rise of unmanned flight. Rockets, missiles, and eventually drones.
So not just a technological leap, but also a philosophical one.
Exactly. Think about it. Taking humans out of the equation entirely. Relying on autonomous systems for everything.
It's a little unsettling, honestly, but also incredibly fascinating.
It definitely makes you think about the future of flight, that's for sure.
Okay, so Mechanicus keeps pushing forward. It describes this circling eye in the sky, revealing wonders in its footprint unseen from the spot. This has to be about satellites, right?
It is. This is where we see the true impact of flight technology on everything.
We went from feathers and wax to exploring space.
And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about our understanding of the world.
Satellites changed everything. Communication, navigation, weather forecasting. I mean, the list goes on and on.
And think about it. This all stemmed from that initial desire to just, get off the ground.
It's incredible. Mechanicarus really takes us on a journey.
It does. And it reminds us that the evolution of flight, it's not just about, nuts and bolts and aerodynamics.
It's about human ingenuity, pushing the limits of what's possible.
Exactly. So what's next? What's the next chapter? What new frontiers are out there waiting to be discovered?
What will be the next verse in the poem of flight? I think that's something worth thinking about.
I agree. It's an exciting time to be looking up at the sky.
That's for sure.